The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Welcome to this week's Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here with episode number 399. That is right, we are one away from the magical number episode of 400. That coming next week. We got a star-studded guest lineup I can't wait to unveil. I guess one of the guys I can tell you that is going to be on the show is Mr. Travis Pastrana, TP himself, coming back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. It's been probably a year and a half since he's been on air, so very, very excited to have Mr. TB199 on the show. So episode number 400 coming next week. You don't want to miss that one. But this week, because of that, we are talking a little Crandon. We're talking some power rankings. And that's about all we got for you. You know why? Because we didn't want to pull forward all the epic, magical shenanigans that's going to happen next week, and we didn't want to slide them into episode number 399. So if you're into power rankings, if you're into motorsport talk, right now this episode is the one for you. If you're looking for big guest interviews, you want to pause that and move on to next week. But yes, over on the off-road edition, we do have a I almost said Best in the Desert Vegas to Reno. How screwed up am I? Crandon World Cup recap. Tiffany Stone and I talk for darn near an hour on the biggest, baddest off-road race on the planet. And, man, it is a good time over on the off-road edition. So hit subscribe over on iTunes. Check us out. Really helps us out. Please leave a rating or review if you get a chance. Those ratings really help out. But, yeah, man, hit us up and, hit that subscribe button over there on iTunes. And for those of you who don't know, I'm at Jim Beaver 15 on social media. But big show today, on the off-road edition. Yes, drop the same day as this one. We've got a big show next week right here with episode number 400. This one, it's all about power rankings. We talk a little bit about Crandon, got Chris Leone on the line, and a whole lot more fun to come. So, yeah, don't want to miss next week. And hang tight, man. If you like our power rankings, which is one of our highest rated segments this week, it is for you. So, all right, we are going to take a short commercial break. We return, Chris Leone and I, we got power rankings right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
Ford WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, Ford WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to Ford WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at FordWP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a feeling.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Sorry my voice is a little bit scratchy right now, Chris Leone, but I was on the mic for probably a little bit too long at Crandon, and may still midweek be nursing a little bit of a hangover. I'm just putting that out there, but welcome to the show. We got some power rankings to do today, buddy. I know you were on ground with me at Crandon, and I know what happens at Crandon stays in Crandon, so we will just say that in regards to you. But, yeah, good time had by all, right?
Well, Jim, I mean, look, everybody at the iRacing office knows that the sleeves on my polos are gone, so it's okay. It's okay. It's an open secret. It's, yes, what happens at Crandon stays at Crandon, but Sleeveless Sundays I don't think stays at Crandon, does it?
No.
I think that's pretty well known.
I laughed. I had an $80 OGO polo, and, yeah, sleeves are gone on that, and Keegan Kincaid made sure of it. So it's one of those two. When it's Keegan ripping the sleeves off, you just kind of roll with it, right? One, he's Crandon's own, but two, it's guy's a big dude. You don't argue with Keegan Kincaid. You just don't do it.
No, you don't. And, you know, I'm one of those guys who, you know, I grew up a hockey fan, and you know how the deal goes with the Stanley Cup, right? Like, if you haven't won it, you don't touch the trophy. But, you know, when RJ Anderson tells you, yeah, you can touch the trophy, you're allowed to touch the trophy. As a matter of fact, it's RJ's Pro 4 and Pro 2 trucks that we actually have in iRacing. So if you want to drive a slightly less damaged version of the Pro 4 that won over Crandon over the weekend, we actually have that truck. So you want to feel what it's like to drive a $50,000 winning truck, then you can do that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and talking about this weekend, obviously we Crandon is going to be in both of our power rankings in some way, shape, or form, but you know, we probably could have done our own Crandon-only power rankings and then did our traditional power rankings because that much stuff was happening this week. I mean, not only did we have Crandon, we had IndyCar, which we're down to the wire. Only one round left. I mean, that's something we're probably going to have to, you and I, do a big preview that week on the show because, man, there's a lot of ramifications there with double points and everything else. But not only did we have Crandon, the biggest off-road race of the year, we had the biggest NHRA race of the year in Indy, the U.S. Nats, which is their version of the Daytona 500, the Indy 500. I mean, they take a couple of weeks off before the U.S. Nats, so all the teams can actually go there. A lot of them are based in Indy, like our friends at DSR. But, I mean, those teams sit there and they do run after run after run in testing. I mean, this is their big one of the year. So we had two crown jewel events on one weekend, Chris. I mean, this makes our power rankings very hard because we could have done an NHRA-only power rankings this week too.
You know, Jim, the embarrassing thing is I spent a lot of this weekend talking up how much I enjoyed NHRA and how much I've gotten into it over the past couple of years, how much fun I had at New England Dragway. And the first time I went through a pass at my power rankings, I completely forgot the U.S. Nationals. It's been fixed in time for the show, but, you know, it says two things. First of all, just how slam-packed this past weekend was. And second of all, what kind of condition I think I'm still in after being with Crandon.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, I mean, we haven't even talked about NASCAR Darlington throwback paint schemes. I mean, you know, it was a big freaking weekend, man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, Jim. I mean, NASCAR at Darlington, IndyCar Portland. We had Formula One in Belgium at Spa, and obviously that's one of the most iconic tracks on the Formula One calendar. Oh, my God, NHRA Indianapolis, Crandon. Labor Day weekend might be more significant than Memorial Day weekend, you know. And I'm sure that might be a bit of a controversial statement to anybody who's a big Indy 500 fan or even a big fan of the 600 in NASCAR, but I don't know. I mean, if I had to choose Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, I might be leaning Labor Day.
Yeah, you know, that is a tough one. I mean, it really, really is to decide which is a bigger weekend. I mean, obviously you've got the iconic, the Monaco, you know, Indy 500. I mean, Coke 600. You know, it's not, you know, it's not one of the NASCAR crown jewels. I mean, it's up there, but it's not. You know, but yeah, like you said, that is a tough call. I never really thought about that. That might be a social media poll. What's the bigger race weekend? Labor Day, Memorial Day, because that's a tough one. It's really tough. That being said, we got to get to these because we got to get a couple of them in before the break, or we'll never get all of them into two segments. But anyway, starting at number 5 this weekend, Chris, who did you have?
Well, Jim, number 5 this weekend, and like I said, this was my revision. I've got John Force taking another U.S. Nationals victory in great position in the countdown. I mean, it kind of would have been more fun at this point if John Force had waited a couple more weekends for that 150th victory that he scored up at Pacific Raceways. You know, winning 151 at the U.S. Nationals, maybe not quite as compelling as winning 150 there if he had done that. But hey, one more win is one more win, and you got to think at this rate that he is on pace for, you know, 200 if he keeps this up, which would be just an absolutely remarkable feat. But John Force establishing himself still as the, you know, one of the premier drivers in the funny car class in the NHRA. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins title number 17.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know, you can't argue with John Force and back-to-back wins. And, man, like you said, he thinks he's gonna be able to do 200 wins before he retires. So at this point, there's nobody arguing with John Force on something like that. Coming in at number 5, though, I gotta go to IndyCar. I gotta go with Will Power. You know, he's come on strong as of late. He really has. I mean, he struggled out of the gate. You know, he didn't get a win till recently, his first win of the season. But to me, right now, they have this massive battle going on for the championship. I mean, it is an absolute shootout. You got Newgarden, Pagenaud, and Alexander Rossi. Scott Dixon was in that as well until he was mathematically eliminated this last round or this past weekend. But Will Power, I mean, you know, anytime you've got guys shooting to the top like that, they know every single position counts and makes a win that much harder. But Will Power, you got to think if he would have come on this strong at the beginning of the year, he would be in this title picture as well. He's not, but I got to tell you, it doesn't matter if Newgarden's his teammate or not. Will Power loved to play spoiler on this whole thing for any and everybody. So Will Power, big victory coming from him. So I've got him at number 5.
For sure, Jim, and you got to figure that a strong finish to the 2019 season has got to be, you know, a good omen for 2020 with Will Power. You know, he's going to come out motivated. But speaking of motivated drivers, my number 4 has had some unrest, I think, about his seat for 2020. I think it's all but secured now. But Eric Jones returning to the winner's circle at Darlington. And here's a guy who, by no fault of his own, quite frankly. I mean, Eric Jones has been a strong and consistent driver since stepping into the 20 at Joe Gibbs Racing. But, you know, because of the success of Christopher Bell in the Xfinity Series, Eric Jones has kind of been on the hot seat because, I mean, you have Denny Hamlin, who you would have thought would have been the odd man out first, but then he went out and won the Daytona 500. You have Kyle Busch and Martin Truex, who are two guys that you're definitely not going to get rid of. So I know there's been a little bit of insecurity surrounding Eric Jones in that 20 car for the long term. And you know what? You score a victory, you're in the playoffs, you secure your seat for a little while longer. You play the playoffs the right way, you could end up at Homestead, and, you get a couple lucky breaks along the way, and you're the champion. So, Eric Jones winning that race at Darlington, I think, was super important to both his short-term and his long-term future. A win's a win no matter what, but a win at Darlington on Throwback Weekend, one of the most exciting weekends of the year in NASCAR, is always special too. So, Eric Jones had to make it to my list at number 4.
Well, and I'm glad you had Eric Jones on your list because he was one that got cut from mine, and no fault of his own. I just, like you said, we got so much this weekend. I had to cut somebody. Darlington, one of the crown jewels of NASCAR. This is one of the big ones. Definitely a solid victory. I'm glad he made one of our lists. Coming in at number 4, I had, who was at number 5 on your list, John Force. The ageless wonder, I don't even know what you want to call John Force. Recent guest here, so much fun to talk to him. Back-to-back wins. I know, it's funny. It seems like when it rains, it pours. It took him so long to get that monkey off his back, and then he goes and backs it up with another funny car victory. And not only that, but U.S. Nats, the biggest event of the year for NHRA. So I had to have John Force on my list. He came in at number 4. That being said, we have to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. When we return, top 3 coming from Chris and I here on this crazy, crazy weekend of motorsports right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Chris Leone. We are trucking along here through this massive power rankings we had this week. Chris had John Force and Eric Jones at 5 and 4. I had Will Power and John Force at 5 and 4. That brings us to number 3 on the week. Chris Leone, who did you have at number 3 on your power rankings?
Well, Jim, for number 3, we're going to go to Spa, and we are going to go to Charles Leclerc, finally taking that first Formula One victory for Ferrari. I know it was a tragic weekend out there in Belgium with the loss of Antoine Hubert in the F2 race. And, you know, Charles Leclerc is somebody who's kind of gone through that tragedy recently. Jules Bianchi, who was the most recent F1 driver to pass in competition, was actually his godfather and a very close friend of his. So, you know, if there was anybody who I think would be a fitting victor for a weekend like that to do justice and, you know, just do right by paying tribute to a fallen driver, I think it was Charles Leclerc. So, you know, absolutely had to have him on my list. That first victory was a long time coming. I know that we have had him on our respective power ranking lists multiple times for races that he dominated but didn't win earlier this season. And, you know, an interesting little factoid to boot, the first driver from Monaco, you know, born and raised in Monaco, as opposed to somebody who moved there to actually take a Formula One victory. So nice little stat there. I mean, obviously everybody raced with heavy hearts in Spa over the weekend, but, you know, a bit of a morale booster for the Ferrari team to be back in the top step of the podium, considering how Mercedes has been dominant this year. And certainly a morale booster for Charles, knowing that he's finally got that first F1 victory.
Yeah, and he was another one that I did not have on my list, but I'm glad you did. Seems like I kind of went down this rabbit hole this week that you guys will see as these things play out. And but just a great victory for him, you know, and like you said, he's one we've watched. I mean, he is one of the future stars of Formula One. Can't even say that because he's a star right now. But this guy's going to have some legs to his career, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see how things play out. I've become a big fan of his just after, you know, seeing what he's been able to do behind the wheel this year, and really excited to see what's in store for him. And I truly believe he could be the guy to go and challenge Lewis Hamilton. You know, and I think Hamilton wants that. I think the entire sport of Formula One wants that. You know, and I think Leclerc could be that guy. But looking at number 3 on my list, I am going back to the U.S. Nationals because I had to have a driver who, you know, how do you judge, you know, when you've got all these different drivers who win the U.S. Nats, how do you judge who makes the power rankings and who doesn't? Well, I looked at who he had to go through to get the victory, and I'm rolling with Doug Kalitta at number 3. And reason being is you look at this, this is the who's who of Top Fuel that he had to go through. So look at this. He beat Clay Millican in the opening round. I mean, Clay, this is, you know, this is a world record holder. Clay is always there in the hunt. He also went through Austin Prock. Prock now had, you know, his first victory of his career on Top Fuel a couple of rounds ago. You know, he's become, you know, one of the you know, rising stars of the sport. He went through Brittany Force, who set records earlier in the weekend for her passes. And then to cap things off, he took down one of the Capco boys, Billy Torrance, who has damn near been as fast as Steve this year. So I look at who he went through, and, you know, once in a while there's an easy round. There was no gimmies this go-around for Doug Kalitta. I look at this, and I go, you know, he took down 4 people who could possibly have won the entire event. So anytime you can take down a star-studded list of drivers like that, I got to roll with Doug Kalitta at number 3, Chris.
No doubt, Jim. And, I mean, that's the thing. We keep going back to it. This was such a stacked weekend. And I'm glad to see that we haven't quite had the same list because, you know, I think there are 9 or 10 different ways that you could have done this list, you know, and
Absolutely.
fairly, you know, gotten a strong top 5 out of it. I mean, there were a couple of guys that I had kind of as honorable mentions that I just knew I couldn't really put in the top 5 with all the stacked talent. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming back at Darlington and scoring a top 5, you know, as an honorable mention. Kenny Schrader going to the ARCA race and winning the General Tire Pole Award, who's already the oldest winner in ARCA history, and now he's the oldest pole winner as well. I mean, I couldn't put those guys in my top 5 with how stacked the weekend was, but man, we have had a lot of variation. Yeah. But I'm willing to bet that our top 2 are probably going to look pretty similar to one another. And I am going to head to Crandon for number 2, and I am going to go with CJ Greaves. And I mean, we've talked about CJ before, where you almost take for granted just how quick he is. But man, finished off a perfect season in the Pro Stock side-by-sides for Midwest Short Course. Took the Pro 4 championship as well, so dual championships there for CJ. Frankly, he could have swept the day in his truck on the, on the Pro 4 side too. I mean, he was really strong, if not for that blowout in the World Cup. I think he would have been right up there fighting for the overall victory. So CJ Greaves, fantastic weekend out of Crandon, took home plenty of prizes, plenty of prize money. There was somebody who had to be in one of the top couple of spots on my list.
Yeah, and I did not have CJ at number 2, but I am going to Crandon for both of my top 2. But at number 2, I had Christopher Polvordi. Anytime you can go 8 for 8, sweep an entire season, that is so hard to do, especially with the competition he had with, Ryan Beat, Cody Kleiman. So he went 8 for 8. He was the points champion in the Midwest, and he was crowned world champion this weekend. He swept the weekend at Crandon, and, with both victories. I mean, I don't know. We've talked this kid up all year long. He's been a guest on the show, but 8 for 8. And to do 2 of them at Crandon and include a world championship and a points championship that both got cinched up over the weekend, to me, I had to have Polvordi on my list. So I had Christopher Polvordi there at number 2.
See, that's the painful thing for me, Jim. Polvordi was the guy who I had to cut to get John Force on there. And I was like, this is a tough one to cut. But, again, we keep going back to how much depth this weekend had. I mean, Will Power was never remotely in my top 5. I know you had him at 5th, but I mean, I had 6 or 7 guys ahead of Will Power, and it was just never even kind of a close one for me with just how deep it was. But, I know we're going to have a difference, I think, on number 1s. And, we already talked about him a little bit, and I am going back to Crandon. I am going to the World Cup race. I am going to give it to RJ Anderson. Winning an event like that, forget about the $50,000 cash prize and, the couple of other prizes that you get for a minute. I mean, those are significant. Those make it a huge race. But, I mean, we've talked up Crandon for quite a while, and particularly this event is the one that everybody wanted to win. You had guys coming out of retirement. You had guys who don't usually come to Crandon anymore, haven't come in years, maybe some who had never raced at Crandon. All of these guys coming out of the woodwork. We had something like, I think it was 26 that eventually started the World Cup race, and it would have been a lot larger if not for some guys breaking earlier in the day. That's unfortunate, but I mean, we had between Pro 2 and Pro 4, we had something like 40 trucks show up. And when you have an entry list that's that ridiculously deep, winning an event like that, and not only that, but the way that RJ did it. I mean, he had to overcome an incident with Bryce Menzies that, I was right out there on the gazebo near the finish line. We saw that happen. Something broke on Bryce's truck, and it just kind of screwed everything up for 4 or 5 guys. And RJ got totally turned around, had to put it back in gear, bring it back, and the next lap, half the bodywork is missing on the truck. So for me, that was a really impressive win from RJ. I know it was his first Crandon World Cup. I know he was pretty stoked about it. So that's why I have to give it to RJ for number 1. I just think the significance of that race outweighs just about everything else.
Yeah, no, and, looking at number 1, I agree with everything he said. My number 1 was RJ Anderson, and he didn't have the most spectacular weekend. But I will say one thing, when you can take a World Cup win like that, you can talk about the money, the prestige, everything that goes along with it. But truth is that race is the hardest one to win in all of short course. One, it doesn't matter if you're a Pro 2 guy, if you're a Pro 4 guy, you got to earn it. You've got to fight your way through multiple different, classes of vehicles. RJ made a last lap pass on Keegan Kincaid. Keegan, he was one of those who, I had him on my honorable mention list, and he didn't win the Cup. He got second, but he just had a phenomenal weekend, and it was just one of those things where I had to have RJ at the top. Just an amazing run by him. And, what more can you say? To me, he could have DNF'd every race and won the Cup, and he was still going to be on top. It's that hard of a race to win. So few have ever done it. Some of the best short course drivers ever never took a Cup win. And so, yeah, RJ Anderson, I got him on my top spot. Just the same as you do, Chris, man. No way around it. He's got to be there.
Well, Jim, I think that was the only place on our respective lists where we actually lined up. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's like the Indianapolis 500. When we come around to that weekend, the guy who wins Indy is probably going to be number one on the list. The guy who wins the Daytona 500 is probably going to be number one on the list. And, Crandon gets the same consideration, which really does make me feel bad for the U.S. Nationals because I know that's the crown jewel in NHRA. But, man, it's tough. Like we said in the last segment, I mean, it's hard to really pick what's a bigger motorsport weekend, Memorial Day or Labor Day. And, I mean, considering just how awesome this past weekend was, I mean, I think I might have to say Labor Day.
Yep, I agree. And with that, we got to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Ford WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, Ford WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to Ford WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at FordWP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the Cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit SuperATV.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just ready to cap off a fun one. This is, I guess, our stopgap episode number 399 to get to the magical number 400 coming next week. Make sure and check out the off-road edition. We do a full Crandon recap. Also on Project Action on Podcast 1 this week, I got Teal Piper, daughter of Rowdy Roddy Piper, making her pro wrestling debut. That was a fun one over there on Project Action. Big shout-out to Four Wheel Parts, Polaris Razor, General Tire, My Medic, Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, Dirt Fish, and all of our amazing partners like Super ATV, iRacing. Make sure and use the coupon code DOWNDIRTYDF for 15% off at Dirtfish. And if you're looking for a discount over there at My Medic, 15% off. Use the coupon code Jim Beaver, and that will net you a big bonus over there. Don't forget, hit us up on iTunes. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out. Leave a rating or a review. If you leave your Twitter, Instagram at username in the review, I will follow you back on social media. Speaking of social media, it's at Jim Beaver 15 on all forms of social media. And, yeah, I don't know. That's about it. Don't forget, episode number 400 next week. Yeah, it's big. And definitely check out the off-road edition as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you enjoyed our power rankings. Love to hear your feedback on social media in regards to those or just about anything else. And we will see you guys next week with episode number 400 right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.